What's up, beautiful people? Sindafam, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video, and it's titled Harry and Meghan's Bizarre Tour of Nigeria Mocked by Locals. Interesting. I'm excited to check this one out to hear what they've got to say, because ever since Meghan and Harry visited Nigeria or had a tour in Nigeria, I had my thoughts about it. I was also asking, like, what exactly was the essence of the tour? But I mean, let's check this video to hear what they've got to say regarding this.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry may no longer be working royals, but their recent trip to Nigeria looked very much like a royal tour of their own. Sky News All-Stars Esther Krau and Caroline DeRusso peel back the curtain and reveal what really happened on Meghan and Harry's trip to Nigeria. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have concluded their highly anticipated tour of Nigeria, but many are still wondering what the purpose of this tour was. Sky News All-Star Kinsey Schofield explains.
Now, let's talk about the Nigerian tour that's underway. Harry and Meghan, I don't know if this is a royal tour. They're not working royals. Are they? Well, they're not politicians or pop stars. What exactly are they doing touring Nigeria in the first place, Kinsey?
Allegedly, they're courting Nigeria for a future Invictus Games, but it's just all a bunch of PR, right? I mean, you've seen Meghan's dramatic wardrobe changes throughout it, her insisting that this is her country. Thank you for welcoming me to my country.
Sky News All-Star Esther Krau agrees, saying not all Nigerians were happy with the taxpayer-funded jaunt.
You know, we have to remember this was on invitation from the Ministry of Chief of Defense Staff in Nigeria, which is the highest post you can hold in the military. And they were talking about, well, they were meant to be talking about Invictus Games. And then she goes to give a speech at the school. She hosts a Women in Leadership conference. Harry's talking about mental health. And it's kind of drifting away from the Invictus Games, which is what the trip was actually meant to be about, to kind of this broad, almost presidential PR tour for the Sussexes. And so you did kind of see a split of public opinion. Many Nigerians were thinking, well, this is a bit of a waste of public money. This is not like we're courting a state that can help us with resources. This is kind of like a faux royal couple that are there to kind of boost their image. And then you had the other side of the coin, which was, you know, it's great to have them there. They're kind of the Harry and Meghan defense squad, and they're just happy that they've broken off from the royal family and doing their own thing. But again, this is the kind of finesse that lack of finesse, I should say, you would see when someone has kind of torn away from the royal fold and doesn't understand these intricacies of diplomacy. And
Sky News host Caroline DeRusso said Meghan and Harry's tour was cosplaying. It was a royal...
Of course, Meghan is an actress, so all of this is just a show, because the exact same thing I said when I heard about Meghan and Harry touring Nigeria. I asked, like, what is the essence? What are they touring for? Is there anything that they are coming to? Like, why are they here? That was the exact same thing I thought. And of course, to her, she is 43% Nigerian. Meghan, like this, if you see Meghan, you would even say, this is white. I'm Nigerian, very Nigerian. Do I look white to you? If she is very 43% Nigerian, look at her, look at her skin color. Look at me, I am very Nigerian. Do I look white? But I just feel like this right here is not even making sense. Honestly, it's not. And if lots of people or lots of Nigerians are having their thoughts regarding her tour or coming to Nigeria, or whatever the reason they have coming on tour, people have their reasons too. But Esther is actually right, and I love when Esther shares her thoughts or opinions regarding issues or topics like this. But let's go on.
It was a royal tour without the royal tour, she said.
No doubt it's great to see them out and about and trying to make a positive impact. I have no doubt of their good intentions so far as that is concerned. But like the video said, it looked an awful lot like a royal tour. This also didn't escape the attention of Vogue, or Tatler, or the Daily Telegraph. It's the royal tour which isn't the royal tour, or as entertainment reporter Peter Ford described it, the Audi version of a royal tour. Sad. And this is the point. If you don't want to be a royal, that's totally fine. Go live whatever alternative life is your preference. But go easy on the use of your titles, regal insignia, demanding your children be granted their birthright titles, demanding taxpayer-funded security, and trotting around the planet cosplaying royal tours. If you don't want to be a royal and you don't want the duty and responsibility that goes with it, then please spare us all the performance art.
Meghan Markle was slammed relentlessly in the media for claiming she undertook a DNA test that proved she was 43% Nigerian and then referring to it multiple times throughout the trip.
Never in a million years would I understand it as much as I do now. Being here, right? Being here. And what has been echoed so much, really, in the past day by men and women alike is, oh, we weren't surprised when we found out when you were Nigerian. Oh, no. And I say that mostly as a compliment to all of you, because what they define as a Nigerian woman is brave, resilient, courageous, powerful, beautiful.
Esther Krau slammed Meghan Markle for drawing so much attention to her genealogy test, claiming it comes across as shallow.
I'm puzzled by something from the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry tour of Nigeria. It's a tour of Nigeria and what's looking like a royal visit. And Meghan Markle has declared there that Nigeria is actually her country. We just found out from genealogical tests that she's 43% Nigerian. And this is odd for me, at least for several reasons, and not just because her father is white and her mother has some white ancestry too. So how did she get to the 43%? But anyway, joining me is Esther Krau, writer, columnist and broadcaster. Esther, great to see you. Look, the issue here is not just that most of Meghan Markle's ancestry actually comes from Europe, or that she was raised in America by her father. It's, to me, trying to claim that you're of a country that none of your supposed ancestors have seen in hundreds and hundreds of years. At what stage does she say, for instance, she's American and home there?
Well, this is sort of diplomacy a la Meghan, and it's actually something that you tend to see a lot with African Americans when they come to parts of particularly West Africa, and they do a genealogy test and they say, look, I'm 16% Cameroonian or whatever. I happen to have done a genealogy test and I couldn't have been more Ghanaian if I tried. But the question is, how does this stuff like this land, and does this actually work? So the royal family, for instance, have done many tours. The late Queen herself did many royal tours, and she couldn't go to every single country and say, I'm 1/16 Gabonese or I'm 1/7 Finnish or anything like that. You have to find other ways to connect with people, and actually learning about the culture, understanding how people live, the challenges that the country face. That's a stronger connecting point than saying that you're 43% Nigerian. I mean, I agree with you, the maths there just doesn't add up, but I don't think people want to delve too deep into that because it's her truth and you don't want to get in trouble for that. But I think it's more the question of this is a kind of blunder you would expect when you're doing that form of diplomacy by herself.
Esther Krau adds Meghan Markle.
Esther is actually right, because all of a sudden she did genealogical test, and the test all of a sudden said she's 43% Nigerian, so Nigeria should accept her. Quite all right, Nigeria doesn't have an issue with that. She did not even dress like royalty. In royalty in Nigeria, okay, let's even talk about royalty in Nigeria. We've gotten like kings, princes, princesses, queens and whatnot. That is not how they dress. And I'm sure by now lots of people must have seen how people dress, and royal families how they dress. So if this is the frontier that she is saying, oh, from the royal family or whatever, I'm trying to understand, like, how does this equate or balance it up to her touring and her husband touring Nigeria? Because none of this is making sense. It's not even adding up. But for her to say she wants to embrace the other side, Nigeria, 43% Nigeria. 43% from where, Gwan? Because if she did not even open her mouth to say she is black, I would not even know, because she doesn't look black to me. Or am I saying something double or something that I cannot see? Let me know. But this is interesting. Let's go on.
Doing that form of diplomacy by herself.
Esther Krau adds Meghan Markle needs to use more than a DNA test to connect with Nigerians.
Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? Because Prince Harry, right, he could go to Germany, and I would bet you, Esther, a lot of money that he would not say to the Germans, I feel at home in Germany, this is my home, I am German, even though he's got much closer bonds, in the families passed to Germany, to the Battenbergs and all that kind of stuff. You could go to Greece and say, look, my father was the royal family of Greece originally.
Exactly.
They don't do that. But here, there's something different.
Yeah, here it's more acceptable. And I don't think they realize kind of how stuff like that would land. For them, it's just, oh, it's a fun fact. This is how I connect with you. Look, I grew up in Ghana, and there was no shortage of people like Meghan coming over and saying, look, I'm 1/16 Ghanaian. And we generally used to ask, okay, do you know anything else about Ghana? Do you know how people live? Do you know anything about the languages, the food, anything like that? I think that's a stronger connecting point, actually learning about the people and treating them as full human beings, as opposed to, treating your heritage as some sort of fetish. But again, this is something that I wouldn't hold against her, because it's very common, and it's kind of like a bit naive. But if you're within the royal family fold, they will know to tell you this is not something that you do. There are stronger connecting points that you can make with people, as opposed to just saying, I took a genealogy test and I'm 43% Nigerian. What if the other half of the genealogy test says she's 57% Russian?
A Nigerian panel show validated this, with one of the hosts saying she doesn't trust the DNA test.
She's going to add to the negative list that we already have in Nigeria. For example, do you say Duchess of, what is it called?
Duchess of
Sussex, yeah. And she's been branded different names, and then she's going to add to the list of we are known to be terrorists, 419, whatever. And now she's come to join the list of the Brazilian Meghan that they call her. She comes in with a diva attitude and all the rest. No, I don't. I'm not proud.
You're not proud.
But rather, I'm more curious as to why she chose to be a Nigerian.
I like her for who she is, but she hasn't added value to Nigeria as a country. I'm more interested in what this DNA thing that they said they did, that she's 43%. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust it unless I am convinced.
I was really shocked. I was like, why Nigerian? Out of all states or country, she chose Nigeria. And how far is that true that she is actually
in Nigeria?
41%?
43%.
43%. I don't understand.
You want to see the proof?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Her actions tells me she's not a Nigerian. For example, if a Nigerian girl were lucky enough or whatever, marry into the royal family, I think she would know what to do. I think she would have respected her in-laws, because that's the way we were cultured. We have aunties, uncle, we have extended family. She would have respected her extended family. And before a Nigerian woman would have earned the queen's love and respect, that she would start cooking jollof rice within the royal families. And I believe the queen would have been eating jollof rice before she passed away.
But Sky News digital reporter Riley Sullivan says Harry and Meghan's Nigeria tour could backfire on them, because unlike a royal tour, as a guest of Nigerian government, the couple won't have full control over their image.
Harry will depart London and head straight to Nigeria with his wife Meghan Markle for their unofficial tour. Why are some royal experts warning that this trip could actually backfire?
I mean, this trip is interesting. It's an unofficial royal tour. They're not there on the behalf of the British government. They're there at the invitation of the Nigerian government. Some people think that this is a bit risky. When you're not there on behalf of say, the British Home Office, you're kind of at the whims of your host. And there is concerns that maybe Harry and Meghan could be, they like to control their image, but this could backfire and they're not going to have control. There was also other reports this week that this is all part of Harry and Meghan's plan, and they're actually going to try and use the trip to destabilise Charles in Nigeria. After all, Nigeria is part of the Commonwealth. But this trip has drawn some mixed reactions. Another criticism that we heard was that Harry and Meghan have accepted this invitation, and presumably the costs of security and travel will be covered by Nigeria. And some people think, well, Harry and Meghan are multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
Why are they travelling over to Nigeria and expecting, the Nigerian government to cost it? I mean, unfortunately, this is a country where 2/3 of Nigerians are living on less than a couple dollars a day. I don't know how this trip's going to pan out, to be honest.
Yeah, you can really understand the criticism, can't you?
Absolutely.
Interesting. With everything that people have been saying about Nigeria, so why now? Why did she now saying she wants to be part of Nigeria? And she says she did genealogical tests or whatever, and 43% said she's Nigerian, so she just wants to be part of it. first of all, she needs lots more connection, just like what was said, and that is true, and that is how we would see it. She needs lots more connection to Nigeria or heritage than a genealogical test. But again, people watch, people see these things, and for her to, like, the essence of the story is what I'm not even understanding, but none of this is actually making sense. I guess for some people it's not surprising about Meghan, because I mean she's an actress, she's a trained actress, so I mean nobody knows the intent of this, but none of this is actually making sense, because genealogical test 43%. Honestly, if people have their doubts about it, then it's true for them to have their doubts about it. And remember, people are actually watching. But again, let's just see how this plays, because I had my thoughts when Meghan and Harry came on tour to Nigeria, because I was like, what is the essence of their tour? On what basis is this? But again, lots of Nigerians are not buying this, including the genealogical test and whatever. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. I'm sure tons of people have interesting things to share. I would really love you to share that. You can share other useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.